Welcome back. This is the AM show, and we're getting straight into the newspapers this morning. My name is Anima Animado. We'll be doing this until 9 a.m. So stay tuned in. We'll be having some very interesting conversations after the sports. We'll be talking budget 2022 and all the drama. There's so much drama. There's actually been so much drama since Friday. You know, NPP walking out, and then NDC walking out, and then, you know, rejection of budgets, approval of budget, all of that stuff. But ultimately, you know, the question on our minds is, now that the budget has been approved, what does that mean? What's the way forward? And, you know, for me, just thinking about it yesterday, you know, how the NDC walked out, you know, and then the budget was approved and all of that. The question in my heart really is, who's thinking about the Ghanaian, you know, the average Ghanaian? Because I really wanted to see some of those concessions go through so that life will be a little bit easier. But anyway, this is where we are. So this morning we'll be speaking to some members of parliament. We'll also be speaking to some governance experts, because we also want to understand what it means for policy and decision making in parliament as well. So we will have that conversation a little later on. But I want to dive into the newspapers now. And starting with the Daily Graphic, of course, the banner headline on most of the front pages of the newspapers is about the budget. So the Daily Graphic is reporting majority reverses minority decision. And it kind of, you know, gives us a run through of what happened yesterday. So let me just take it from here. The approval of the budget was undertaken by the 138 members of the majority, including the first Deputy Speaker, Mr. Joseph Osei Owusu, who presided over the proceedings. Now, remember that the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Backman, is out of town. Apparently, he's in Dubai. So the first speaker was sitting in for him. And the first speaker does not have a casting vote, but I think he gets a deciding vote. That was a whole argument as well on social media. You know, sitting in for the speaker, can he vote? Can he not vote? Well, apparently he can. So he did, and so that brought the numbers to 138. And obviously, our parliament is not like, you know, the majority-minority gap is not big. It's really just one person. So 138, 137, the NDC were in there. And as long as there were 138 members in Parliament, then the votes, you know, could be cast, and the winner, you know, wins, or whatever that may be. So that's what happened yesterday. Apparently there was a long caucus meeting before. It would seem as if maybe the minority had accepted that this is what was going to happen, which is why they walked out. But we'll find out today exactly why they did all that when we get into that conversation. So let's move away from the budget. So Barbados is the world's newest republic. They also have a female president. She used to be the Governor General. This is before they became a republic, but they have become a republic now. So congratulations to them. And of course, Barbados is one of the most beautiful places in the world, so good stuff. Omicron COVID-19 variant not cause for panic. That's according to the U.S. President Joe Biden. Let's move on from that. Parents are being advised to help children grow to be good adults. Interesting one there if you're interested. The minority is still sticking to their point that the budget approval is unconstitutional. I will try not to get into it, and we'll have that conversation later. So Dufour confirms NDC presidential ambition. Yesterday, he spoke on the Super Morning Show to Koji Yankson and Winston Amwa, and he said that... okay, let me just quote what he said. He said, I was a finance minister, so I was in politics, but we have not started talking about the NDC presidential race yet. If we get there, and I am given the nod, why not? So something to look forward to. Ultimately, it will depend on the NDC and if they choose, like he says, to give him the nod. Really looking forward to that, actually. You know who the flag bearers are going to be? NDC, and I think even especially more for NPP, because President Akufo-Addo is pretty much done after 2024. So it'll be somebody new. So it'll be interesting to see how that's done. Okay, there's a special supplement celebrating Nana Otuo-Srebo II, 50 years of distinguished service to Drabin, Asanteman, and Ghana. So that's in the Daily Graphic. Is a supplement if you're interested. Economist advocates tax tier regime for business. You Start initiative is a game changer. And Blood Donor Day commemorated. Ministry of Health workers raise concern about appointments delay. And courts is allowing Lighthouse Chapel to amend defense. So Lighthouse Chapel are still in court over that issue, if you remember, some of their pastors talking about their SNID benefits and all that. Presby University College ready for charter. Kitasco Old students host schools NSMQ finalists. They're saying we're putting all the structures in place to ensure our presence in the next finals of the NSMQ. I'm also looking forward to seeing them in the NSMQ. I think they're great role models, aren't they? And, really gave us hope that, the underdogs, as it were, could really rise to the top. Rwandan High Commission launches Umuganda in Ghana. Pregnancy, violence, chores thwart girls' progress. So that's a report that says adolescent girls have the potential to be the engines of their society, but only if they are given the opportunity. So a report has been published by the United Nations Children's Fund, that's UNICEF, and they have underscored the need for concerted and sustained investments in the rights and well-being of adolescent girls in Ghana. Now, honestly, it would surprise you how many girls are not going to school in the first place, not even like in the rural areas, but also in Accra. I came across quite a number of them who are not going to school. Some of them have lost their parents, or, one parent is abroad, one parent is here, struggling single parents, and so the kids are having to go to the market or having to perform a plethora of chores before they actually get to school. So they get to school late, they get to school tired, and then obviously there's all the pregnancy and the abuse cases. It's a lot, so let's not lose sight. We've made a lot of progress, definitely, when it comes to equal rights for girls, but we still have a long way to go. So take some time out and read about this report, and maybe this Christmas, instead of eating that whole turkey by yourself, why don't you look for a girl who needs to go to school and maybe pay her fees or something. Just something to think about. Anyway, let's move to business. 10 million steel production plant commissioned. Empowering rural children, unlock literacy project. Okay. Fix versus fixing country. Need neutral public interest formations. Okay, that has a picture of the Fix the Country placard. Okay, some sports. Royal ladies win gold. I think yesterday was a big football day. I don't really remember seeing any football going on. Compelled UTAB construction to compensate me retiree appeals to roads and highways minister. Also, there are a few job advertisements in the Daily Graphic. So if you're home today, you're looking for a job, maybe pop out, grab the Daily Graphic, and who knows, you might find something that you can do. Okay, so let's go to the Daily Guide now, front page of the Daily Guide. Dufour indicts Mahama on jobs, of course, so the jabbing has begun. Attorney General denies drafting new legal reform bill. NPP OK's 2022 budget with 138 NDC boycott. University of London honors Mary Chinwe Hesse. And President attends Black Caucus confab. Okay, so there's also in the Daily Guide, a whole order of the day concerning yesterday's budget approval. So if you want to pick that up. Barbados becomes a republic and parts way with the Queen. Myanmar court postpones verdict for ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi. China pledges another 1 billion COVID-19 vaccine doses for Ghana. So we saw that yesterday. Guinea junta says ex-president moved to wife's home. Okay, so apparently Alpha Conde has been transferred to his wife's home in the capital, Conakry. Extreme winds in Turkey kill 6 and injure 52. Okay, let me do this story. So the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Godfrey Adame, has said that he hasn't come up with any new legal profession bill as has been portrayed in the media. Quote unquote, I can disclose that I have not come up with any new legal profession bill. In point of facts, there has not been any legal profession bill drafted by the Office of Attorney General and Ministry of Justice this year. No approval has been sought by Cabinet, well, to Cabinet from me, for this bill to be sent to Parliament. The Attorney General further said that any genuine attempts at the reform of professional legal education must first address the organization's scope and content of the LLB programs in the various law faculties or law schools. He said a lot of honesty, good faith, and dispassionate introspection is required for this conference to achieve what I term the twin objective of broadening access to legal education while preserving the integrity and quality of the profession. Okay, so it seems like that's still pretty much in the sky. It's really, I feel like it's really difficult for people who want to be lawyers in Ghana, because the process is, you know, it's a little bit tedious. I do know a few people who've written the Makola entry exams, I think twice, or, you know, kind of still waiting and still hoping, and until you write it and pass and get into it, you know, before you write your final exam, that's your dream on hold. So, I mean, the president says that he was also interested in widening access, you know, without filtering or without making the quality less. So we'll see how that'll go, hopefully soon, for the sake of all those who have their LLBs and are waiting to enter into Makola. So Kim Kardashian mourns Virgil Abloh. You know, we lost Virgil on Sunday. Apparently he had been fighting a private battle with cancer, and he died on Sunday. Now, Virgil, remember a few years ago, he came out as a designer for Louis Vuitton. And we were really excited, you know, to see a black man and a Ghanaian, you know, out there doing well and, you know, shining like that. So really sad. He was 41 and he lost a 2-year battle with a rare, aggressive form of cancer. So lots of tributes have poured in for him. It's been kind of tough, you know. We've lost him, lost Chadwick Boseman as well, you know, and you find that maybe not so much in Ghana, but little boys, you know, need some good role models. So AJ Sarpong and Sika Osei to host Rhythms on the Runway. Okay, I was blacklisted in Nollywood. That's Joke Silva. I'm sure if you see a picture of her, you'll remember who she is. She said, you know, they did a film, and then they just, you know, got into some issues with a marketer, and then she was secretly blacklisted, so couldn't get any jobs. A man 58 drowns while fishing. 17 police officers involved in the accident. We know that they're getting better. Some of them were in critical conditions, so just keep them in your thoughts and in your prayers. Hopefully they should be all fine and on the mend very soon. Okay, so the Daily Guide. University of London honours Mary Chinwe-Hesse. She's a Ghanaian female civil servant who had a stint at the United Nations. She's been honoured by University of London. So congratulations to you. Good stuff. Love to see women shining. I'm not going to take a minute and read my horoscope because Israel is not here to fill in the void. Good morning, Israel, by the way. I'm sure you're watching. Episode targets 2022 VGMA. He's hoping to be Dancehall Artist of the Year. Okay, interesting. Adipa Sela celebrates God's goodness with Nyami Noye. Good morning to you, Adipa. Expect a better marathon, Secondary Takrade organizers. Messi admits Lewandowski deserved Ballon d'Or. So Paris Saint-Germain forward Lionel Messi said that Robert Lewandowski deserved to win the 2020 Ballon d'Or award after he picked up the trophy for a record 7th time. Well, he did what Prisek couldn't do. So Messi, great stuff there. Apparently, what's his name? Ronaldo has picked it up 5 times. So he and Prempe were on the same. And I'm guessing the Lewandowski would have been Kitasco because, you know, maybe this would have been his first time. So interesting there. But that's it with the Daily Guide. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, there's a story that's quite interesting. Apartments for President Veeb's visit to Kumasi abandoned. Yeah. I can see that you can see the picture on your screen. I'll get into that story when we get to page 16. I was trying to do this systematically. Scale up efforts to prevent importation of COVID-19 Omicron variant. GMA to government. 2022 budget approved at last, and gang rape case adjourned to December 19th. December 17th, sorry. Okay, so man allegedly murders girlfriend. Okay, let me see what this is about. So she had been with her boyfriend for about 3 days prior to her death. He came to see her, spent time with her. He left early Thursday morning, but nobody suspected that anything had happened to her. A few days later, some of the people who lived around were a bit curious about what was going on in the house because she hadn't come out. And it's said that she was found with blood stains on her bed, one of her hands twisted, and looks like there had been a struggle. The body has been conveyed to Konfanochi Teaching Hospital for investigation. I'm sure we'll find out what really happened there. Tens of thousands march against military rule in Sudan. Uganda launches airstrikes against. There's a lot happening in the world, people. So much happening in the world. Uganda launches airstrikes against rebel group. Experts critique Prince William's ideas on Africa population. Okay, let's see what Prince William has to say. Okay, so last week, Prince William stirred controversy after suggesting that population growth was responsible for the endangerment of wildlife in Africa. Isn't it funny how some people talk about Africa like it's one country? Like Africa. Okay. Many took to social media to share their frustration at the royal figure's sentiment, with some connecting the statement to eco-fascism, a theory that argues that humans are overburdening the planet and that some populations are more responsible than others. The ideology has racist connotations. In short, black, brown, and marginalized people are blamed for overpopulation and consequently the environment's demise. I'm not going to get into it. So, anyway, it's on page 5 of the Ghanaian Times. So, if you're interested, you can just pop out and grab that. University of London confers honor on Mary Chinwe-Hesse, 3 other individuals. Political will and witchcraft accusations in Ghana. That's by John Azuma. So, you remember that Madam Eka Dente was lynched. And a few other cases in the northern region. The Sana Institute undertook some research and data gathering into witch hunting and the witch camps in the north. It's established, that these do exist, and that some of the women have very severe physical scars. And is asking the question, what can be done and what about the Constitution? Remember, Jojo Kobna also did a feature on that. And we talked about it. It was one of those conversations where, you're kind of just hopeful because it seems like there's so many roadblocks to be able to get to the point where women are not going through these accusations of you're a witch. And, it's like, okay, well, I think the way that some tribes determine whether a woman or a witch had to do with a chicken and some corn or something. If you try to kill a chicken, depending on where they fell when they died, you're a witch, and stuff like that. And we do honor, our traditional practices, but there's also a time when we have to begin to really protect the interests of citizens. So that's something to look at. Kwabena Dufo declares intention to be NDC flag bearer. MP criticizes proposal for bill to include adultery and fornication. Remember, I told you this story last week, right? I think it was Atuguba, if I'm right. He talked about the fact that the LGBTQ plus bill should include adultery and fornication. And then he said that there should be a watchdog set up, committee thingy set up for people who commit adultery and who fornicate. And that this watchdog should start their business in Parliament by making sure that the members of Parliament are not committing adultery and fornicating. Okay. Now, our very good friend here on the show, Mr. Roxy Nelson Dafia Metbo, has criticized the proposal by some people that adultery and fornication should be covered by the promotion. How I wish he was coming here today so I could ask him about it. He insisted that the bill could not include such acts since adultery and fornication had already been provided under matrimonial clauses. So he talks about Section 2, acts in Section 2, and if the House, okay. So he continues to talk about the fact that it's already accounted for, so we don't need to add it to that. So interesting. I wonder what will happen though if fornication and adultery became illegal and criminalized, punishable. That would be interesting, very, very interesting. Al Hassan and Danny Joyce Ayi join FHMS Endowment Fund Board of Trustees. Okay, so that story is on the center spread. The apartments for President and Veeb's visits to Kumasi abandoned. So an apartment built to accommodate presidents and vice presidents whenever they visit Kumasi now appears to be a white elephant. The apartment was built in 2006 by former President John Ajekum Kufuor to accommodate the presidents or vice presidents anytime they visited Kumasi. It hasn't been in use for years, and the president and vice have been sleeping in hotels. It's close to the official residence of the Ashanti Regional Minister, and 5 years after assumption of office, the regional minister has also not used his official residence. I'm guessing the idea was it was kind of like a Camp David kind of place, because I see a lot of greenery and stuff. And it really would be nice, actually, if it was finished up properly, and, nice place for the president and his family to go to, as opposed to maybe the presidential suites at the Golden Tulip or something, which is probably going to cost taxpayers a little bit more. But anyways, sexual orientation is not fundamental human rights, as Sam Jata George. 300 teacher Mantes residents go through free health screening. Cut poultry imports to cushion local industry. And oh, how we dream of being like Nigeria, who do not import poultry into the country. How we dream. It is but a dream at the moment. Maybe one day, we will get there. 7,870 children receive first Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine jab. Have your children gotten vaccinated? If your kid is 15 years and older, they can get vaccinated. I would like to actually find out what that's been like for the kids, because I remember when we got vaccinated, a lot of us adults, we did have a lot of side effects, feeling ill and all of that. And of course, that's normal and expected. Actually shows that your body is accepting the vaccine. But I also wonder how children are dealing with it. I'm sure you are too. So maybe we'll have a conversation on that. 5,110 adolescent girls pregnant in the central region, January to June. The thing that's interesting about these reports is that somehow they never kind of tell us why. Why these girls are getting pregnant. Is it because they're not, being taught safe sex? Is it because they are bored? Is it because they're at home and not going to school? Is it because they're being abused? I think it's important that we explore why girls are getting pregnant, so that we can actually do something about it. Because in this day and age, to actually get pregnant by mistake is kind of, anyways. Ghana climaxes Road Traffic Remembrance Day with donations to Ridge Hospital. African leaders charged to raise issues on security, economic empowerment at U.S. summit. Oh, this is interesting. So there's a U.S. summit, and African leaders have been advised to articulate issues bordering on security and economic empowerment in the upcoming summit on democracy that will be hosted by U.S. President Joe Biden. Okay, that should be interesting. They're supposed to go and articulate security and economic empowerment. Charlie, they think of one budgets right now. It's not easy here for us. But then again, it's not really easy anywhere. COVID-19 hit the world hard, so know that most economies are trying to recover from that. Okay, let's see what else we've got in the Ghanaian Times. Okay, all this stuff I've told you about. Oh, Tiger Woods not expected to return to full-time golf. He had a car accident in February, remember. He had surgery on open fractures to his lower right leg, and then further injuries to his foot and ankle. He's 45. He's making progress, but getting all the way back to the top is not a realistic expectation. So he's saying that he's hoping that he can pick and choose a few events around the year, play those ones. But top form, perhaps not. Olympics take Hearts to court over Awako's registration. Oh, that's interesting. Hearts NLA sign 1 million. Okay, that's been the newspapers. Bridge on Kintampo, new Longolo road fixed. Following Ghanaian Times publication. Well, congratulations, Ghanaian Times, for getting that done. We work together, we win together. Regional Security Village for Tishiman in the offing. All right. Wow, I've managed to talk my way through just 3 newspapers. Shall we quickly go to My Joy Online before I hand over to Muftal? Just really quickly. It would be great if we can do that. myjoyonline.com. Okay, meanwhile, the Daily Statesman is reporting Bagbin's error rectified. Okay, myjoyonline.com. Government to reduce e-levy from 1.75% to 1.5%. Okay, well, the rest of the stories on My Joy Online is on your screen. So pop over there. I'm sure you'll find everything that you need to know. Business, entertainment, and also everything budget 2022. All right, then, thank you for staying tuned in. We're going to do some sports right after the break. And when we come back, we'll be getting into our budget conversation for the morning. Also, we have some of our friends joining us this morning from Jiz, also from Pojoba. So interesting, fun show that we have planned for you. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned in.